Billy. This was a request from Sean. Hey Sean, what's happening, man? Thank you so much for checking out the channel. So I hope you enjoy this. And let's do an acoustic version, of course, and specifically the no frills acoustic version, which is more or less the same as the 15 minutes version. Some slight differences in the way he plays a couple of the chords, but the chords themselves are all the same. So let's check this out and see what he's doing. All right. So the first thing you'll really notice that he's really digging in. He's getting a lot of real right hand stuff happening in this track. So the thing you can't do when you play this song is you can't do it in the shitty mid-90s style where you're playing your chords.
Stop it. Get some help.
All right, none of that shit, okay? We're gonna be really digging in. Right, you gotta really get this right hand going.
That's what she said.
So this is a really great song for you to get your rhythm chops going. And of course, don't forget the left hand with rhythm playing is just as important because you need to be able to choke out chords, right, as well as just get that muting in there. So this is definitely a great rhythm song for practicing your rhythm. So in that intro, we have a C9 chord to start. We're not adding the high G on it. Normally you play it like this, but it sounds to me like he's just doing that. You could probably take the third out too. Or let's see. Yeah, I think the third's probably in there actually. So we start out with that chord. And then we go to that. And if you want to play this as a D sus2, that's fine. Or just a D5. Either way will work here. But then he does some funny stuff with that. So let me kind of just play through what he does on that D chord. He goes back to a C. So it's, and he opens up that to get that that G in there, and then he brings his pinky in on the F sharp and kind of stays on that, and then quickly does an open D back before he goes to that C. So you get kind of a he stays on that C all the way until the verse starts. On the recorded version, he throws in a little lick where he plays that open D, fretting the E, and then playing the open G beneath it. He does that on the recorded version, and I think he does it between the first and second verses on this one. So C to D. You could get super duper nerdy on this one and say this was C Lydian at the beginning because you have a major 1 to a major 2, and you've got that F sharp in there, which is the characteristic note of C Lydian. I don't think that's what's happening here. I think what this is just a cool intro. C to D, not Lydian at all. And the C is just kind of a flat 7, starting the song on a flat 7 because the song, or at least the verse, is in D. So we go C to start, the D, and then C all the way until we get to the verse, which will start on a D. So let's listen to the verse. I'll probably play along with it a bit, and then we'll come back through and break it down. So we've got 4 chords happening in this. We've got a D. We've got an E minor 7, which he's playing like that. So not really hitting that high E here. We go to a G and an A, or an A sus2. I've seen him play it live where it looks like he's just playing an A. I like the A sus2. I'm a huge fan of the A sus2. If you've seen any of my other videos, you know I always love that A sus chord. So you could play it even as an A5, just kind of a, that kind of chord there, and not worry about that third. So what you get is this kind of thing. Now you could play it like that, right? Let's try it like that. See, I think it sounds a lot better as a sus2. So those are the 4 chords of the verse. Really, really easy. And we're just in straight D major here. You got the 1, the minor 2, the 4, and the 5. And then we're going to go to the 6th chord in the pre-chorus. All right, let's check out the pre-chorus and see what's going on there. So there, what happens is we come out of that last chord in the verse, which is an A, and then we go to a B minor. So the Things He Cries at the Movies is on a B minor. And on the word at, he throws in an A bass note there. So you He cries at the movies, goes to an E. So you can call that a B minor and then a B minor over A. If you want to, it's what it really is. And then he goes to an E, but the E, he pulls off that finger and plays it as an E7, kind of like he just kind of flirts with that E7 a little bit, kind of like just to give it a bit of feel. And then after the E7, he goes to an A. Now I played it as a bar, and he throws in that sus4 in there. So you could play it like this and do it that way. Either way, I kind of just whatever my finger lands on at the time. And then he plays, we've all seen the D over F sharp chord, right? In this one, he starts it as a D7, major 7. So this is a D major 7 right here, this chord. And he's just playing those 2 notes, not playing the high E. Right, so you have those 2 notes, and then you have that on top. So it's a D major 7 with an F sharp in the bass, or D major 7 over F sharp, and then he just throws in that part. So what you get is that's what you get. All right, really cool. So harmonically speaking there, you've got that E major in there. We can actually look at that as a secondary dominant because it's going to A right after, and E is the secondary dominant, or is the dominant of A rather. So even though that's not part of D major, that's kind of how it's being used, because B minor fits, that's the 6th chord in D. So then that would be a secondary dominant resolving to its 1, which would be A, and then you just go to the D after that. All right, so if we just work our way through what we've done so far, from the verse, we start on the D. And then kind of goofed it up a little bit in that last part there, but get the idea. So that takes us to the chorus, and the chorus we are going to start on a G here. but all the chords are going to stay diatonic to D major. So I'm going to call this D all the way through, including the chorus here. So all right, let's check out the chorus and then we'll break it down. He's in touch with his feminine side. All right, cool. So out of the pre-chorus then, we're on the D over F sharp. So the chorus, we go to a G, to a D, and on the D you can fool around a little there if you want. Back to a G, D, A, and then walk up, E, D over F sharp, G, but it's a G add 2, the Kershaw special, and then A, D major 7 over F sharp, back to the G add 2. All right. Why he uses the G add 2 there and not the G, anyone's guess. On the recorded version, it sounds like he's using a G there, but on the acoustic version, he's doing that G add 2. All right. And you want to keep that high E muted here, because that would make it a 6 chord if you had that in there. All right. So you can play those 5 all the way down to that open B, but with your, like with the kind of the crook of your middle finger here, you can kind of hook it over. It's kind of hard to see that. Maybe right there you can see, and it mutes that string. All right. So played through, it would sound. It's got the little riff right there. Really awesome stuff. And then that'll repeat right through to another verse, another pre-chorus, and then another chorus. And then we hit a bridge.
By no means, by no means, king of the road.
All right, so then let's check out the bridge and see what's going on there. We'll come back through and break it down. Really cool bridge there. So let's break this down into like a few pieces. So we come into the bridge from the chorus, which is that G add 2, and then we're going to go to a C add 9, this time a full one. So better go and find to a G, an analyst on D or something. So that's an A minor 7 to a G over B. G chord, just get rid of the root, replace it with that B. Or if you actually take a G chord, just take off the root right there. You have that. But he plays it like this, so there's no, in this part, I don't think there's any high E, but you can throw the high E in there if you want. So better go and find an analyst or something. Back to G. Right, then he fools around on that there. So sometimes what he'll do is he'll actually just take those 2 fingers off. So you can kind of just fool around with that, all right? So C add 9, G, D, A minor 7, G over B, C add 9, G, and then D. Just noodle around on that. And then we change keys to D minor here. And he comes in with a D minor 7. It sounds like there might be an A chord, an A on top of that right there. So you could call that a D minor 7 over A. I'm not real sure about that. So either a D minor 7 or just play the A on top of that. All right, D minor 7. And then you go to an A minor 7. and then a G. Now live, I've seen him play that G like this, just like that. Okay, but in the recorded version, it sounds like he's doing that. And then he goes to an F. Now on the recorded version, the 15 minutes version, he stays on the F. The live 15 no frills version, he goes to F, and then F sus2, and then back to F. Right? So you just pull off your middle finger here, which is playing the third, which is A, and you pull it off and you get a G, which is the second note in F, so it goes to a sus2. And then back to D minor 7, A minor 7, G, kind of quickly on the G, and then back to a C, and he's throwing in just a little hammer thing on that. So altogether, it sounds like this. All right, so out of that bridge, we go to the solo. And on the No Frills version, he just does the verse progression twice, which is what the solo on the recorded version is. So he plays through the chords in the verse twice, and you'll hear that he does a little bit of embellishment the second time through. So let's see if we can find that, and we'll listen to that real quick. Okay, so on that solo deal, he plays the verse chords twice, right? The first time through, it's pretty straightforward, just the typical. But the second time, and I'm going to do this a little slowly here to show you what's going on. On the D, he does this. And then he hits that E minor 7. With that E in there, that high G, excuse me. So you get, and then he does that, right? Real slippery, real cool. So the D, you pull your fingers off, bring them back, go to the E minor 7, hit it, down to the F sharp, and then down to the open E, back to the G, and then back to the A. And then we go back into the pre-chorus. Right? So there's just an absolute shitload of chords in this tune. And, you know, I've always got them on the screen for you, and there'll be a downloadable text file. So this is definitely not the kind of video you're going to watch. If you've never learned this song, you're going to have to really, maybe not watch this video a bunch of times, but definitely study the chords and just really work on getting it the way he does it, right? So once you build up to it, it's not that hard. It's just a lot to remember. So that's the verse, the intro, the verse, the pre-chorus, the chorus, the bridge, and then the solo. And then, of course, the reason why I think everybody loves this song so much is because we've got that part at the end where he does that list of girls that he likes. So let's see if we can find that. Okay, so we build up to it here. Okay, here we go. So there we have 4 chords: G, D, B minor, and then we have a weird one. For years, I think I started playing this song, Jesus. I started performing this song live 20 years ago, 22 years ago, I don't know, a long time ago. And I always played it as a D major 7. But something always seemed a bit off to me, so in preparation for this, I actually went and watched some live shows. And it looks to me what he's doing is he's playing a D major 7 with an F sharp in the bass or an A in the bass. I can't quite figure it out if it's that or if it's just that, right? If you listen to the very last part of that, whatever that part's called, it's not a bridge, it's just this weird other part. Listen to this last part here. You hear that? Let me play that one more time. It sounds like the A's in there, right? Am I crazy? So if that's the case, that chord is an F sharp minor over A. Right? And I think that's what he's doing. So you have an A, and then you have an F sharp minor chord, right? But you're just taking off those top 2 notes. So you just put bar your finger like that, add that finger there, and then you've got, right? You could play it as a D major 7, and no one is gonna fucking care. But I'm supposed to be showing you how to do this shit the way he did it, and that to me sounds exactly like what he's doing. A over F sharp minor, which I have to say I've never seen that chord before.